I call Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to take the first call on the third reading for the Greens on the social assistance, portability to Cook Islands, Niue and Tokelau bill. Sir, we're pleased to be supporting this in its final reading, and we will of course be voting for it. This bill recognises and should recognise the special relationship that New Zealand has with the countries of the realm, the Cook Islands, Niue and Tokelau. And it's a special relationship that's lasted a long time. This bill changes what has been seen to be an inequity. And I have to say that the evidence we heard during the Select Committee suggested that this bill has been a long time coming, and certainly that's the view of my colleagues over here who were also on the Select Committee at the time. It was a special privilege, sir, to have the premiers, the leaders of our realm countries come and present their oral submission to the Select Committee. And it's not something that happens very often, but it's I would reiterate that it was an absolute signal from these countries that a change to the superannuation, portability and veterans pension is absolutely required for the citizens of the realm who want to go back and spend their final years in those island nations, sir. So what the bill does is it enables citizens of the realm from those island nations who've lived in New Zealand for more than 10 years after the age of 20 to return to their home country as long as they have lived in this country, in New Zealand, for 5 years after the age of 50. Now, sir, this provision was quite controversial, and I want to acknowledge and thank the members on this side of the House from both New Zealand First and Labour who put up supplementary order papers in an attempt to amend that provision in the bill, because we do still see that as an inequity. But what it does is it allows, after the age of 55, the citizens from Niue, Tokelau and Cook Islands to return to their home islands and to apply for and receive superannuation, New Zealand superannuation, and the veterans pension if they are eligible for it. The previous situation, sir, was that they had to be present and resident in New Zealand in order to access that superannuation, sir. So it doesn't actually affect, when this bill comes into being, it won't actually affect a huge amount of people right away. It's roughly only about 250 will be triggered into being able to access superannuation and the veterans pension, sir. However, it does give the opportunity for those many people from the three realm countries living in New Zealand to be able to access it in the future, which we do see as fairer. Currently, sir, according to Statistics New Zealand, there are 62,000 people from the Cook Islands living here, 23,000 Niueans, and 7,176 people from Tokelau also living here. And that is a far greater number than the populations living on those islands themselves. And it's been an ongoing issue, sir, where the local economies have been depleted of their greatest resource, which, and I agree with my colleague, Porter Williams, their greatest resource, which is their people. So we have a larger number of people living in New Zealand than who are living in the realm islands, but their connections, sir, are strong, and their ancestral ties bind them to those countries, and it is fair and reasonable that they return if they want to in their final years to take up their lives back in their home countries. The depopulation issue, sir, has been a real problem. We did hear that from the leaders of those countries when they submitted. But we did also hear that there was the potential for this change and this bill to enable people to return to their countries at the age of 55, that they may they may be young enough to be able to contribute further to the economies in their home countries. But still, we're not sure about that. And that was one of the reasons why we were quite keen to remove the 5 after 50 rule. Sir, we're happy to be supporting this bill and to know that it is supported unanimously across the House. It's very rarely that happens, and it's an unusual experience, I have to say. But for the people of the realm, and from the realm country, sir, I think it's something that we should be doing to ensure that they get the best deal that we can possibly give them. And again, I do restate, I'm disappointed that the National Party did not listen to the submitters that we heard, including those nations' leaders, asking for more flexibility, because they've been waiting, they've been negotiating with Murray McCully and others in the national government for a very long time. So while, sir, this bill doesn't go as far as we would like it to do, it is a step forward, and we will be supporting it.
I call Derek